Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been like 2 days now. United haven't really actually signed anybody. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? But it does look like there's a couple of people being circled. And I imagine tomorrow morning it's probably going to kick off again. Ugarte looked like it took a step closer. I actually expected us to be sitting here talking about how that's been boxed off. It sounds like PSG are playing a little bit more hardball because they're trying to raise a little bit of money for João Neves. It's one of those, isn't it? But bang all your questions in. We'll have a little bit of a chat and we'll see how it all pops off. Looks like there's the kid from Arsenal. Looks like that's a goer. I mean, I know nothing about him. I will do my research on him, as we always do. But right now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything about him because I haven't got a clue about him. So give us a few days and I'll see what I can rustle up about him. But yeah, that's that. Not a lot actually going on for a change, is there? The first sort of slowdown we've had in a couple of weeks with the way it's been going off. There has been some talk about Amrabat, that United refused to pay the 20 million to trigger his buyout, but we are willing to discuss new terms. Again, I like it. There's no desperation for us to get Amrabat in. I liked how he finished the season, but ultimately, if we can save a couple of quid, let's save a couple of quid. And you going, nah, not interested, actually, to Fiorentina, instead of the panic buys that we tend to do, I think is a nice change of gear. So I'm pretty happy with that. Very recent has just popped in that Palestri has had an offer from Panathinaikos. Don't know anything about the cost of it or anything like that. But that's pretty much the new news that's kind of kicking around a little bit tonight. Outside of United, there's some talk that... Oh, actually, it says it's not true. So some Saudi sources are playing down the reports that Kevin De Bruyne reached an agreement with Al Ittihad is not true. That was a bit of a shock, and almost sort of not too much of a shock as well, wasn't it? In terms of that one coming out. But yeah, I mean, everything else, what's going on, everybody? How has your weekend been? What have you been up to this weekend? Did anyone do anything fun last night? Has anyone done anything fun today? Let me know in the comments. I will have a chat about it. Lee says, see now Arsenal fans are obsessed with comparing Euro to the player thereafter. Arsenal fans are almost defined by United, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. They have to drag United into whatever, don't they? AJ Wright says, what should I have for dessert? Ice cream or cake? Depends on the cake, mate. I'm going to be honest with you. And not all ice cream is created equal. I do have a Ben & Jerry's in the freezer, which has been giving me the eyes, but I'm trying to behave. And I don't really want to be smashing in like a Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Oh, you can eat it in 3 or 4 sittings. No, you can't. You've got to demolish it in one sitting and then hate yourself afterwards. Them's the rules. I am on day 2 of not having Red Bull, though. And as I sit here chatting to you now, my heart rate is at 65 beats per minute. It's not normally that low when I'm just sitting down somewhere. Abhinav says, United should ask, how much money do you need for Ugarte to sign Neves and then spend that money on Neves? Ineos needs to speed up. I can't take lull days. Dada Caesar says, evening, Steve. And thank you for all the content. Any thoughts on the Xavi Simons links and a possible Raz replacement? PS, I think we will have an orange third kit next season the way things are going. Well, Johan Cruyff literally did that at Barcelona, didn't he? He literally got an orange away kit for Barcelona at one point when he was manager there. Even though I don't think they had that many Dutch players at the time. They did, though, for a bit more of a Dutch revolution in the 2000s when Louis was there, I think. Xavi Simons, I like him. Yeah, I do like him. He's a classy little player. I don't think he's exactly the position that we're desperate for. But yeah, he's a good player, isn't he? Obviously. Banonka says, if I can count Lazarone at 10 a.m. this morning for an 8-year-old birthday party, then yay. Oh, right, okay. Salford 6 says, get on those modafinil. What's modafinil? I've heard of that. I'm going to have to go to the Google. I don't know if I want to get on that. I'm going to be honest with you. According to what Google says, I think that would be a hard pass from the Stee. Jonathan says, I defo take Xavi. Jake says, wish we'd get Olmo over Simons. Olmo's come out of the Euros quite well, hasn't he? Do you think he's one of the players whose stock went up the most? Liam Cohen says, next England manager. But it won't be me. Got to have a pro licence. Got to have a pro licence and managing the Premier League. Talk about narrowing it down a little bit. And it said success in the Premier League, so that rules out the guy that you've just got rid of, doesn't it? Phobo says we desperately need a left-back. Social Monkey says, any news on Captain Slab leaving? I haven't heard anything about Maguire going anywhere, to be honest. One of them, I guess, isn't it? R Block says, have I noticed that Sancho's insta-pick is still Dortmund? No picks in any United games seems odd. I don't know how many times people need telling. The things that managers say in press conferences. By the way, these are on my desk. And I've got some Under Armour trainers, fat tyres they're called, for doing a bit of trail running. Basically, I got them to run the ultramarathon in because I'm thinking they're a massive big cloud thing that I can sit on. But these things kind of zip off, and I don't know whether to keep them on or lose them. I took them off immediately because I think you look like an absolute twat wearing them. But anyway, what was the question? Okay, don't listen to what managers and agents and players say in press conferences because there's an agenda. If Erik Ten Hag goes, I tell you what, I'm fucking wounded, he's back, then United get less money for him and United need money to sign new players. Like, it's just not the done thing, is it? You have to make it look like, oh yeah, we're fucking mates again. Yeah, oh yeah, I want him to sign and stick around and that. Bilal says, is that a Mexico shirt? No. Or 9, should I say. Germany. I've got a Mexico shirt. It's in that tub. I'll be able to get it very quickly. Nick says, last time saw you in 3103 was CR7's return. Still go. Yeah, I was there all last season. But yeah, 3103 is where I am if anyone's in the neighbourhood. If Wan-Bissaka leaves, we need a solid backup for Delo, so our left-back solution rattles me, says B. Gino. Yeah, it'd be nice to get sort of a left and right-sided centre full-back sort of sorted out, wouldn't it, I think? Phil Lopez Aguilar says, Ahmed Diallo's season. I think it could be his season, yeah. I think it'd be a real good slot for him to step into. Jace Park says, evening Steve, lovely to see you as per. Vinay says, thoughts on the new kit? Red one's okay, blue one's horrendous, the away one looks sensational. AJ says, thoughts on Anthony saying he wants to stay and prove himself? We all want things. Don't mean you're going to get them, does it? Alberto says, never had a shout out before. I do coaching for Medlock Rangers in Droylsden. Went to league meeting last week, seeing that Stretford have merged with Brendan Bees. If true, we'll see you guys on the grassroots. Yeah, that is true. And if you're looking, or I don't know if Medlock have any senior teams. My lad used to play at Medlock. It was a really good setup, actually. Medlock Rangers, good little club. But you know, there are opportunities. I want 50 teams under the Stretford Paddock banner by this time next year, which is probably unrealistic. But you got to have a goal, right? Dave, club secretary's job, will be in the mix, trying to speak to clubs. We want at least 2 teams at every single age group by the end of next year. That only gives us 20, but I want boys and girls, and I want depth. You know, I want to absolutely take over that East Manchester Junior Football League. The under-16s played Curzon Ashton today, National League side. Beat them 5-4. I think it was our second team as well that beat Curzon Ashton. So we're doing all right. I had 3 15-year-olds in the first team game yesterday, just getting minutes, getting them in and around, get them up to the speed and the tactics and the style of play and the shapes that we're playing. So, you know, I'm not just fucking playing games with it. When I say I want to develop youngsters, I'm absolutely serious about what I want to do with developing youngsters. But good luck for the season with Medlock, and hope you do well. What's the top we're wearing? It's Germany. Stella Vega says Harry Maguire couldn't play on Medlock cages on a Tuesday night. Still believe that. Do you know what? Medlock cages were a raw one. I remember when it used to be shale on it. I remember when it used to just be one pitch with a running track around the outside of it. You used to have to do laps of that fucker. But you know what? There's a real culture down at the pits in town. A real culture. And it's a Sunday night thing as well. So this time, actually, in about 15 minutes or so, you get yourself down there, depending on who's playing when, and I'm talking about like what Premier League teams are playing when and where. You'd be surprised at what players show up at that kickabout at the pits. When I'm saying you could probably charge an entry fee to watch it, I'm not kidding. Real fucking good. Real good. Real good session. Real good to see. Some players that people lost their mind about playing for England this summer was a regular down there. And he was cold with it. Scott says, hi Steve, do I think United will try and play the 3 centre-back, 2 wing-back, 1 box midfielder, 1 striker formation similar to England? No, I don't think we will. MM says, wants to develop youngsters but praises players like Bruno and Garnacho. Don't understand what you're saying there, mate. Notch says, was that an impersonation of you? Not intentionally, I don't think. Mr. C says, do you not play the same style through all the year groups with Paddock? No, we do want to, but until we've got more of a conveyor belt, because at the moment, I've got years and years in between each of the age groups. We've got 12s. I've got 8 teams, but there's gaps in between each of them. And I wouldn't want to impose yet, it will come, but I wouldn't want to impose just yet the style of play right throughout the club. It's similar. They all play similar. We all try and play football on the floor, but I have a system that moves to a back 3-2-5, whereas the rest of the teams kind of set up either in a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. So there's little nuanced differences in it, but it's one of those. Kieran says, New Balance trail running trainers are the best, much better than Under Armour. Actually wasn't the most comfortable, these Under Armours that I've got when I've test drove them. Will says, never managed to catch you live. Love all the content. Cheers for all the hard work. Cheers, our kid. Is anyone going to be in San Diego and LA next week? Or this weekend, should I say? When do I think the Ugarte deal will get done? Probably about 15 minutes after I finish this live tonight, the way that this window's been going. Mom Chill says, probably a bit too soon, but how would I rate the transfer window so far? I agree, it is too soon. We'll see. Miles says, if Heaton is staying, then Vitek needs a loan where he'll play every week. League or another championship would be perfect. Agree. Leonard says, is there anyone more adept at picking out hidden gems in scout reports than you on YouTube? Not sure. Tactical knowledge you've got is also in a different league. Thank you, our kid. Am I going to apply for a job at a Premier League club? No, I'm not. No, I've got a big enough project on my hands with what we're trying to do with Paddock, and I'm very proud with what we've done with Paddock, and I'm very determined to achieve the goals that we've set out with the club. I will play in the FA Cup with this team that we created, and I will do so using youngsters that we've moulded ourselves as well. Whitbird says, Steve, which midfielder do I think I see going out first in the transfer window? McTominay. Feels like McTominay, doesn't it? What would be the best and worst districts to move to in Manchester? Right. I'm going to have to give you some parameters here, because like Alderley Edge is not Manchester. So we can't have that. So I would say in Manchester it's Didsbury, and there's not even anywhere that comes close to it. But you're going to have like 600 grand just to get a relatively basic house. The worst area. There's quite a few that you wouldn't want to live in the centre of town. There is quite a few that you wouldn't want to live in. Beezermate says Moss Side as a whole. It's not, though. Moss Side's not that bad. Moss Side's on the borders of like Fallowfield and Charlton, which are like gentrified as fuck. Like Moss Side's not. It's not Gunchester like it was 25 years ago. It's just not. Moss Side, like I got loads of family that live on that side of Manchester. It's not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Adrian says, are we planning to sell more Paddock FC merch, quarter zips and hoodies? Yes. Trust me, you can't even understand the amount of work it is getting the kits and things sorted. So let us get all of the kits out and then we will do the merch. But yes, ultimately yes. Kyle says Biden pulled out. Yeah, I saw that. Did not feel a bit weird considering he was like, I'm not fucking leaving like a week ago. How much is it to enter a team in the FA Cup? Don't know, but we'll be fine with whatever it is and whenever it is. Tom Hartley says Moss side's improved a lot in the last 20 years. Leonard says, how come you fell out with McCullough and Joel Bayer? Did you just invent this? Like, I'm literally going to America on Wednesday with Adam, and I do a show every Monday with Joel. Like, do people just invent things that they think they want to happen and decide that happened? Giles says, off football, I saw that Medal of Honor medal winners, all people, are expected to initiate the suit to them no matter their rank, higher or lower. I think this should be done with the Victoria Cross. Well, it is done with the Victoria Cross. You're meant to salute the Victoria Cross. Did you know that? No, you do. However, yeah, obviously being in the military, don't just have like random fucking geezers at Greg's and that saluting random people. Harry says Hale is nice. Hale's Altrincham though. So if we're keeping it to Manchester, no, that's a very specific set of districts. If it's Greater Manchester, fucking Oldham. You won't want to live in Oldham. Although Oldham has got nice parts. Bilal says Didsbury's for toffs only. Do you know what though? Sometimes you go and have a bev in Didsbury and it's like being on holiday with that main strip. It's absolutely sensational for having a bev. Do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do. Do I believe they visited the Earth though and like communicate to people? No, I don't. I definitely believe there's other life out there. Otherwise, what an absolute madness it is that this one little blue planet has managed to get something in it. David says, yeah, there's lots of, oh my God, what's wrong with Adam fake drama going on in the chat last few weeks. Is there? Gabby says, Steve, does Stretford Paddock get along with the Muppeteers boys? Sometimes his sources and news seem nuts. Wonder what his link is. Yeah, I met him when we was in America last time out, and I chatted to him about us doing some content together. I just haven't managed to rig it up. But yeah, I get on with him. I think he gets on with the rest of the lads as well. I don't know what his relationship is with the rest of the lads, but I get on with him just fine. Yeah, happy days. I think we'll probably hook up, do some content. I was chatting to Ian Edwards this morning. We're going to do a podcast with Ian Edwards on Friday at the Laugh Factory. So that should be good. Ant says Salford and Cheetah Mill can be rough. Yeah. Stephen Harris says, I was in Failsworth the other day, so Jim didn't start in money, did he? No, Failsworth's got a decent little night out sort of strip as well, weirdly. Anonymous Nobody says, do I think that the links with Tony indicate we are considering a two-striker system with a plan B against a low block? Super necessary in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm not against it in all honesty. And actually it's a little bit less than having a two-striker system. When you play a 3-1-6 or you play a 3-2-5, what happens is you get width by having one of the fullbacks bomb on into the final third. And when you have one of the fullbacks bombing on into the final third, it shunts over that winger into the half space. So you're essentially playing with three people across the two half spaces in the centre of the pitch. So you can actually have... Mandzukic was one of the best examples of someone doing this. Like, he would start wide and would aim and get centrally in the end. Like, you don't necessarily have to have the old school style two-striker system. Like, football is so much more flexible and fluid than that now. Casey says, going to Staley Vegas soon. I haven't been out in Staley Vegas for a long time. I think a lot of it has died. It's mad how areas become, like, intensely mega for a night out and then just fucking die with a quickness, innit? 20 Legend says, Los Angeles stay by the famous Beverly Hills Hotel. Me and Ronaldo went for a mooch around like where the Beverly Hills sign is and then walked down like the high street of Beverly Hills. It was nice, you know. It was nice. Daniel Barry says, Muppeteers has a source in Ineos, most definitely. It does appear like that, doesn't it? I wouldn't ask him because it's just not the done thing, but yeah, it definitely does appear like that. Breen says, do I go to Salford FC games when I can? I have been to some Salford games, but obviously we play at the same time on a Saturday, so me getting to anyone outside of a paddock match is difficult. Ant says, lived in Hale Barnes as a kid, lovely, but property is about 8,000 times more expensive now. It's a spendy old gaff. It is a nice gaff though. Hale's got a nice little high street as well. Is there something in that? Everywhere that's got a nice high street. That's why Drawson's fucked. Ain't got a high street no more. Just got a fucking tram stop to get you into town. Are there any negatives to getting Frimpong? If you're going to hold possession the way Leverkusen have held possession, no. United aren't quite at that level yet, I don't think, where they could hold possession to that level. So it'd be interesting to see how he would deal with getting the sort of grief he would get in the Premier League week in, week out, because he's he's basically a right-sided attacker that sometimes comes back to right back. Tabasco says that's where Ten Hag lives. Hale Barnes, doesn't surprise me. You know, Pep basically lives next to the cathedral in Deansgate. Isn't that mad? Just been here a long time now and still lives in a hotel. Why is that not the drama that it was for Mourinho living in the hotel? Do I think Casemiro will still start most games this season? No, I think he will go. Seth says, talking to Leverkusen, which teams am I most excited to see next season? They're up there for me. It's a big test for Alonso. It'll be very interesting to see if he's able to replicate it, because you get the option of a little bit of a surprise package, don't you, at the start, when you come in and do a bit of madness like that. But being able to repeat it now, everyone knows what's coming. That's true winning. That is true winning. So it'd be very interesting to see. I'm not making zero predictions on this because I have no idea how it's going to go. You know, there's a good chance Kompany could be a success. He could be a complete flop at Bayern Munich. I see Nuri Sahin's taken over at Dortmund. That makes me feel well old. But, you know, there's a good chance that they repeat this. Whether or not they can go and then push that on in the Champions League, I don't know. But, you know, it's one of them, innit? Can they replicate an unbeaten season? You'd fucking doubt it, wouldn't you? You would absolutely doubt that, wouldn't you? Callum says, what kind of run of form would see me step aside as gaffer of Paddock? It would depend on the circumstances, because you can lose games that you should have won, and I am extremely critical of my own performance. And I know that I've grown loads in terms of a coach, and I know that there's absolute gears and levels that I need to go through to continue to grow and learn as a coach. I don't think I will slow us down for at least the next 3 levels. I think beyond that, TBC. We'll see. But I think with the next 3 levels, I can comfortably coach at this level. Outside of that, once we get into like FA Cup territory, we will see. Have I been to Northern Soul and Tib Street? Yes, I know the owner, and he's an absolute lad. You know, I think he's a City fan. Ali says, what do I think about pursuing Alphonso Davies? A year left on his contract, upgrade on Luke Shaw. Certainly different to Luke Shaw. Absolutely, yeah. It's not a bad shout. Depends on how much he would be. Mr. T says, night out. Can't believe no one's mentioned Partington. Genuinely, I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, because I've never heard of anyone having a night out in Partington. Watch it be amazing, I have no idea. Conrad says, managed to catch the first half of the Paddock game on Twitch. What was my objective in that game? Well, we had a bit of a rotated side. The objective in the game was just to see more shape and more transition. We started off poorly. We conceded a penalty, and then we made a mistake in terms of playing out. Lads weren't switched on, body language all over the place. But then for the next 40 minutes or so, put on a bit of a clinic, actually, and got ourselves back in front to 3-2. At half-time, they made a few changes, and we didn't come out playing how we spoke about at half-time. But we were still winning the game until like the 70th minute or so. It was still 3-2, and then as I started to make the changes, bringing literal children on, and I actually don't think any of them put a foot wrong either, to be honest. I just think sometimes there's a collective talk, a collective sort of like aggression can drop off when you make substitutions like that. Substitutions you wouldn't make in a league game, for example. And ultimately we ended up conceding with that. Some big players going off, obviously. It's one of them. Ultimately, there's no prizes for the result that you get in pre-season. It's all about the performance. We have a great analyst that's working with us this season. Is on placement for the entire year. Really good. Loving the detail of stuff that I'm getting from him. And we will discuss the things that went right and the things that went wrong. one thing that we're focusing on big time this year is the mentality side of it. We've always been able to play. But I think sometimes the mentality has got to be able to get a little bit better. Sean says, have Paddock played Wrexham? Wrexham in League 2, mate. No, not played Wrexham. P2K says, Steve, do I think of signing Branthwaite or De Ligt dependent on which one of Maguire or Lindelof goes? Currently see Maguire as backup left side centre back and Lindelof backing up the right side. Yeah, I think it does probably depend on at least one of them going. Probably Maguire because of the wages. AJ Wright says, I've noticed that since they got Rice, Arsenal fans haven't mentioned Partey, even though they spent months calling him the best midfielder ever. See, you fucked up when you started listening to Arsenal fans, didn't you? It's one of them, innit? Chad says, thanks for all your content. Love the soccer and I get some culture exposure for a yank. Why am I not coming to the Liverpool game at my old uni? Well, my little pedigree chum, what happened was I got banned for violent conduct. But I wasn't banned at the time of us booking the flights. So Paddock's first game of the season was meant to be on the 3rd of August. I don't know when our first game of the season is going to be because there's a bit of confusion between us and the league. I asked for our first game to be the 3rd of August. I then got banned by the FA. And obviously United play Liverpool on the 3rd of August. So when the lads leave San Diego and go to South Carolina, I'll be flying home to not go to the Paddock game, unfortunately. So I'll be watching on Twitch like everybody else, which we're doing for the entire season, by the way. So if you want to watch our games, the whole 90, free of charge, on Twitch, get in the mixer. Russell says, watching from Barbados. Cheers, lad. The best YouTuber with football knowledge. Big up. Well, thank you, mate. Very kind. Me and Ash have been talking about doing a bit of a tactical show. Ash actually wants to do some football related content. Can you believe it? So we're going to try and do that on a Monday or a Tuesday, depending on how it goes down. I think looking at maybe some tactics. We spoke to a guy that can help us with like 3D tactical graphics, and it'll be me and Ash sort of covering like one tactical aspect of the game every single Monday. Let us know what your thoughts on that and if you can get any ideas behind that show. So Jimmy says, the guy that headbutted you get banned as well? Different FA, so I have no idea. He's Merseyside FA or Liverpool FA. Max says, bit of a feisty one you are, Steve. Oh, can be. Steve says, Rabiot for free is a good deal. I agree, Steve. I think that would be a good deal, mate. Yeah, I agree. King Gvedulf says, assuming United get De Ligt and Ugarte, will United sign anyone else? Possibly. I think there could be a striker in the mixer, yeah. What was the Twitch link? Get it off Twitter, or I'm hoping the Paddock website launches tomorrow or Tuesday, the new one. It looks fucking sensational. And it'll just be in the bar where all the social links are at the top, but it'll be on Twitter before the game. It's Stretford Paddock FC on Twitch. Now, the Stretford Paddock account, which they've used for like some Euros watch-alongs and stuff, is on there. So you have to search for Stretford Paddock FC. So it's like Stretford_Paddock_FC, something like that. But you can find it. And if you can't find it, you weren't meant to find it. Stephen Houston says, Paddock kit is banging, by the way. Yeah, that's our new kit that we've got. James is on the website. It says St. Helens on the 27th. Yep, there's a confusion. So right now, we haven't posted anything on our socials because we don't know what the score is. As soon as we do, we will post it on socials. Yeah, the third kit, there's some cool features that we haven't spoken about just yet, but that won't be on sale for a while yet. Am I going to watch Yellowstone before the new season starts in November? Ooh, it's a long season. I might do. I'm debating what to watch on a plane going over because I need a decent series to get my teeth into, and I was actually weighing up Yellowstone. Although, as good as Yellowstone is, I really like 1883 and 1923. I think they're absolutely buzzing sort of prequels in it. Sean says, am I the only one that doesn't want Adrian Rabiot? No, you're not. I think there's quite a few people that sort of agree with you on that one. I just think he's a real easy one. Zaim says, could I convert game footage into 3D animations and get away with copyright? Probably, but I don't know if anyone's got the ability to do that. We'll be basically like a 3D version of the magnets and counters, so like this sort of stuff. But like basically we've got a digital version of that. Sorry, where was that? 1883 was mint, says Hydro. Science fact. Any ideas who might leave? Not really. The Good Doctor is a good watch. Oh, I'm not seen that. Did I watch The Last Dance? I mean, not today, but yes, I've watched it a lot. Greg says, where are you guys doing a meet-up in LA? Is there a tailgate ahead of the game? I feel like I've been told there's a tailgate, but I forgot. I know there's a tailgate at Snapdragon in San Diego, but I don't know what the script is in LA. Probably just do whatever that is. We haven't organised an event as far as I'm aware. So we're just going to go with the flow. Christopher Sloan says, much chance of Ivan Toney, do I reckon? I don't know. The rumours came from nowhere, and it was almost stronger after we signed Xerxes, wasn't it? And you're like, I don't know what's going on here. P2K says, just follow Stretford Paddock FC on Twitch. Like I said, we'll be there every single week. So that's going to be one of those. Horizon says, do I regret not going on the Cruyff coaching course? A little bit. But you know, it was £8,000. I couldn't afford it, and it was also having to go and live in Holland, Amsterdam, a couple of times a year, like 3-4 times a year for 2 weeks at a time. I just couldn't do it. When is the black kit available, says James? Not yet. I don't know. Let me get the home kit and the green and gold kit out of the way, and then we'll do that. Have I seen Deutschland 83? No, sir. What do I think would be a fair price for Casemiro? Like 20-30 mil, be pretty happy with that. Abhinav says, what's the best burger I had in America? It's In-N-Out. It is In-N-Out. They're genuinely top. And I can't even explain to you why they're top. They're just top. They nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it. They've nailed the whole experience, actually. It's everything you would want. Who wins in a fight, Ronaldo or Joe Smith? Joe's a big bloke, you know. I think people will be surprised. Look up Clarence Seedorf's teeth. Why? Gav says it's 100% In-N-Out. David says, Jesus, you need to eat more burgers. I beg to differ. People are saying Shake Shack. Yeah, Shake Shack was okay. Nah, Shake Shack doesn't fuck with In-N-Out. In-N-Out wins all day. So Erik says Shake Shack is far better for chains. It's the toasted bun, says loads of people do a toasted bun. Chippy says Steve, with Hoyland potentially work playing off the right, if we ever wanted to play Xerxes as well and Rashford on the left. It depends on the shape that you're trying to hit in the final third, but theoretically it might do. I think Xerxes would work better because he's going to come in between the lines and knit it a little bit better. Answers, have I seen Generation Kill? Have I seen Generation Kill? Yes. I've been recommending Generation Kill to people for a long fucking time. It's fantastic. So Walt says, my favourite paddock player. I say currently, so for those who aren't aware, Captain James Oat has moved on to Denton as of today. I've known for a couple of weeks it was coming, and Oates has been absolutely perfectly respectable throughout the entire process of it. And I don't have any issues with people moving on and moving up, but ultimately as a club we want to be seen as doing that. It's a bit of a testament to what we do. So I got no dramas with people moving on. I encourage it because it's one of the best recruitment tools I could have. Is like, yeah, we move people on, so come in and move on. So Oates has moved on. It's a shame because he was very close to having 100 appearances, and it'd been nice for him to get that because we're trying to sort of create some traditions with stuff, and the 100 appearances one we was going to do some interesting stuff with. So it's a bit of a shame he's not going to reach that now. But while the lads was on commando weekend, we took the lads to a commando weekend last Saturday and Sunday, and the response has been fantastic. It was excellent for them. It wasn't my idea, even though it's a military sort of course that the lads did. We've got an athlete development coach on placement, which is Aaron. It was his idea. And it was brilliant for them, and it was really good to see how well they adapted to it all and took it all, and the impact that it had on them following that. And while we were sitting around the campfire on Saturday night last week, I asked the lads, Notes moved on. I asked the lads to select a new vice captain, and almost unanimously they decided Eddie, and I was very happy with that because I think Eddie is a captain. And with the departure of Oatsy, Eddie is now the club captain. So I think it was really good that, you know, I appointed Oatsy as captain. In our second season, we had Parker for our first season. He went then to coach at Ramsbottom, and I made Oatsy the captain for our second season. He's been captain for 3 seasons. And now it's Eddie as a club captain, and I like, you know, yes, it's democratic with the fans, but it's also democratic with the players as well. And it was good to see that the players were on the same sort of vibe as I was in terms of who they selected, and they've selected Eddie. And in terms of who my favourite player at the club is at the moment, it would probably be Eddie even, because I think he's just, you know, he's a great character, great leader. He was in the same squad as McTominay at Manchester United. I think he was released at United at 16, I think. But that whole academy alumni thing that United are doing, you know, he's been a part of that. He's been going back to do stuff with United. So it's one of those. Great bloke, real strong character, vocal leader, and he can play as well. So Eddie is the new club captain. There will be a discussion or a decision to be made on who is the new vice captain, seeing as though we now have to find that spot again. But I like having these sort of conversations with stuff and that. Have I watched Kevin Costner's new Yellowstone-style film called Horizon? No. Is it any good? Is it any good? I wouldn't mind having a look at that, actually. Just Ash and Stuff says, sorry, just joined. Who and where is Eddie from? Eddie's been at the club for a while. He missed last season through a load of injuries. He was there the season before. He played for, I think it was Campbell University. Played soccer at university in America. I think he won 2 national championships while he was out there. So I think he got released from United, went out on a scholarship to America, came back, had a year with us, struggled with injuries, had a whole year out with injuries and sorted himself out with work and stuff, and has come back. And he's looking fantastic at the moment. Ant says, Steve, I dropped an email to the producers to see if we can get a season of SAS Who Dares Wins YouTube edition. So I saw this in the comments the other day, and I was like, who did you email? You actually emailed the producers to go and do that. Am I game? I don't know if that makes sense for me to do that, to be honest. Am I DS or am I a contestant? I mean, obviously I wasn't Special Forces, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense for me to do that, I don't think. To be honest. Wouldn't mind being involved in some way. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I mean, I'm doing stuff like that similar on my channel. Oh, fuckers, wait till you see the content that we've got this week. So we've been doing presentations, essentially, this week. From positions of ready that... I'm regular army, right? I'm not Special Forces. Certainly wasn't in anything as Ali as the SAS, and... we just had, I mean, some people know who he is, J Cal in the comments. The presentations and the sort of rifle drills that I've been doing this last week have been fucking brilliant fun. Engaging multiple targets, multiple shots, multiple targets, time stuff against the clock, going from, you know, ready, compress, ready, high, ready, low, ready, all that sort of stuff. It's been fucking brilliant. I've absolutely loved it. And I'm going to do it again. I am absolutely going to do it again. But we've got some content from it as well. We had a videographer with us. And I hit a 1 to 5 drill. I hit a 1 to 5 drill, which is 5 targets with 15 rounds. 1 target in the first, 1 bullet in the first, and it's in a 4-inch square. 1 target, 1 round in the first target, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 5 in the fifth. And the geezer before me did it in 4.98, and I went, fucking hell, that's fast. And then I managed to pull it off in 3.85. So 3 seconds 85, 15 rounds, 5 targets. My intention of doing this week was to blow the rust off, and I think the fucking rust has well and truly gone off. Felt good. By day 2, I felt fucking right in the groove of it again. But like I said, it's on camera. So some of those fucking speed drills are on camera because the geezer was right on my shoulder, and we'll put those out because I can't wait to fucking see them. Ant says, think you'd be too experienced to be a contestant. Figured it'd be a good DS with a link to both worlds. What with it being YouTube and military, even though, yeah, I wasn't SAS, yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Have I been to Point Blank in town? No, sir, don't know what that is. P2K says, Steve, do I have a schedule when I go live? Been a sub for years now. This is the only second time I've caught you live. Love the depth content. Keep up the good work. No, I often did a Sunday night live. This is probably the best chance to catch me live. But otherwise, no, I don't really have a schedule to it when I can do it. What do I think of Max Oyadele? I think he played fantastic the other day. Ant says 3.85. That's tasty. What's the grouping like? Wouldn't have been a tight grouping on those. It was getting the rounds into the target. So that the difference in the sort of shooting you would do in the military, usually from the prone or from in a slit trench or something like that, you are aiming for like very, very tight groupings. With the stuff that we were doing there, it's essentially CQB drills. So you're not necessarily, I mean, you're trying to hit within, you know, a small-ish sort of target, but you're not necessarily aiming for tight groupings. In fact, can I see if I can throw this on the screen? I mean, I was still getting stuff in a tight grouping, but when you try and get stuff from a tight grouping, you're trying to get it from like the same sort of stable firing position. And when you're doing these presentations, like you're changing the position because it's meant to like flow with CQB. With CQB, you might, you know, go compressed round one threshold, you might go high ready under another threshold. Like everything is changing all the time, so it's about hitting the target rather than hitting it with like a real tight group. But let's see if I can pull this onto the screen. I was still happy with the number of rounds that I managed to get, like right between the eyes and like right above the heart. Basically, I'm aiming with a holdover for the top of that black box. I'm not aiming for the heart. So check this. So that's the shots to the head. As you can see, a couple of them have fell a little bit towards the nose, but like right that centre of mass. Pull to the right a little bit, actually, if anything. But you can see like the centre of those rounds is landing right between the fucking eyes. A couple of wayward ones there. But then again, we've burred a hole in the fucking centre of the chest there, which is what we were aiming for. So that's all right, isn't it? Not too bad. ITN says, Howson, you're hilarious. You can't run, let alone shoot. Well, I see both of those are incorrect, aren't they? Really? So now what do we do? Afele says, I'm South African. We have different tables that require different types of shooting. That makes sense for close quarter. Innovation says, do I think Ahmad worked on his physical? You can see him barely losing the physical battle now. I think he was always going to improve at that sort of stuff, for starters. But I think he was always very good at sort of retaining the ball the way it comes into him, I think. Flick says, Steve putting rounds down range, stay frosty. Just wanted to blow the rust off. So I'm doing some bits with the army, and I just wanted to not look shit on camera, so I've got to stay current, if you like, or learn some new shit like I just did there. Bruce says, love watching the paddock content, seem to be really reaching the players and they respond accordingly. By the by, seen you in the Rover a lot lately. Been treating you well as it can be expected. As well as can be expected. It's a 30-year-old vehicle. There's issues. I feel like there's something going to go on the clutch. There's a fucking weird creaky noise happening on the clutch at the moment, and I'm just waiting for something to snap. It's just had a new some fucking slave piston or some shit like that for the clutch. I thought it was a clutch cable that got on me, but something like that needed doing. It'll be fucking coming again soon, I'm sure. Johnny Piper says, have a pint, bro. Thank you, our kid. My favourite rifle. Well, I only use the SA80. We've been using the M4s on that stuff. And I like the M4, actually. It's nice. Do I think Malasia starts if he stays fit? Nah, not yet. Nathan says, appreciate your content, respect the authenticity. Others can be so OTT just for easy clicks, which gets boring. You just can't do it, can you? Football's a fucking hobby for people. I enjoy the craft and I enjoy the learning. I really do enjoy the learning. I enjoy the coaching. It fucking costs me to do, and it stops me doing some shit that I would like to do as well. But I also get a lot from it, and I get a buzz off learning stuff. So it's one of them that I'm after. Stephen says, have I done any of the edges in the Peak District, Stanage, Bamford, etc.? Nah, not yet. I think Jaden's been up doing one of those this weekend, though. He's been out all weekend. I think he's fucking camped out Friday and Saturday night. Little fucker won't listen to me, though. He's gone in just a hammock with no sort of shelter. And I know the weather's been good, but, it's one of them, innit? Have I had he's not ready thought so far this pre-season? I'm trying to think of any of the first team. We've not really seen the first team yet, have we? So that's one of those. Bruce says, good to hear you got to knock the rust off. Always good time when you get to practice the skills. Like I said, I was learning new stuff because like CQB, CQB is something that's happening now for every infantry that comes through. But when I come through, it was SAS did that shit and no one else got to touch it. Then the SFSG got formed and they did it. Now everyone's getting a little bit of CQB done. A little bit, at least. Vinay says M4 Carbine. That's what I was shooting this week. Do I reckon Wrexham will win the league before United? No, I don't. That's mental. What's my hair routine? Sometimes I wear a hat and sometimes I don't. And that's the routine. And RT says the midfield is still two quality players short of being something that isn't a weakness. I agree on that, actually. And I think if you brought in Rabiot and Ugarte, that would put us in the right sort of mixer, wouldn't it? KD says M4 with a red dot sight, great weapon system. That's what we were using. Wassa says the variety Ahmad has to his game highlights how selfish Anthony can be in that comparison. Yes. James says Steve would have hit Trump. Listen, I can't even joke about something like that with me going to America on Wednesday because you fucking guarantee that some absolute fucking helmet with a sense of humour bypass just pulls me in and just fucking has a whinge about it, doesn't it? NT says, what do we count as progress next year? We need top 4 and a trophy as a minimum. I don't think the trophy is the minimum, actually. No, I think the top 4 is the minimum. I think the trophy would be a bit of gravy on top. I think that would be lovely. I think that'd be a nice target to aim for, but yeah, no. Thoughts on Joe Biden dropping out? I don't think 80-year-olds should be allowed to run, full stop. Do you know what I mean? I've ever tried a 240 from a helicopter. It's fun. No. Vinay says, get your strip searched in New York. That comment, exactly. We're just going to keep it moving and gloss right over that sort of shit. Would I be happy for Amrabat to stay? Yeah, I would, actually. I think he could do a job. I reckon he's on a back burner in case we can get Rabiot. Ryan says, top 4 is failure. It's not, though, is it? He's been there before. He's been here 3 years. We should be challenged in as a minimum. But you've got to understand the mistakes that have been made and the players that haven't worked and the players that have had to be replaced. I don't think you can say that top 4 is a failure. I think it's progress. You don't go from 8th to challenge. There's progressions in the middle. Junior says, both too old to leave the country. I'm from England, so it doesn't directly affect me, but yeah, I laugh at both sides equally. Yeah. Daniel says, Romano just said they are not going to get Amrabat. But there you go. Feli says, Erik has made us so used to being winners, I wouldn't mind just winning the Europa and maybe 5th or above. How do I rate Rice's Euro performance? I think he's a bang average £15 million player. He didn't look amazing, did he? I also think that the system didn't suit him. And I think they also tried to play a lot of players in just like weird ways. I just think Southgate's a fucking terrible coach. You know what I mean? It's one of them, innit? Do I think Delo's done enough to start next season? Yes. Who would I like to replace Bruno with in the future? Wirtz. Right now. If I had to pick somebody right now. And someone talking, there's been an argument about Glocks and SIGs. I haven't got enough experience on either. Handgun's just not a thing in the UK. We had a Browning high power 9mm when I was in the army. And I fired that and a P226. I quite like the P226, to be honest. That was okay. It felt better made than the Browning, but there's a good chance that Browning's probably 50 fucking years old before it gets put in my hand. Steve, where is Angelina from? I think she's Salford. Seth says, surely no one with aspirations goes for Southgate. The problem is, there's a lot of executives that haven't got a fucking clue what's going on, so it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Bruce says, come up to Seattle, Washington when in LA. I will take you to arrange all gear supplied. We have not got that much time. So we have got land Thursday. Hang on, let me get the itinerary up. We land Thursday at like 2 in the afternoon. After that, you'd be knackered because realistically it's like 10 p.m. at night, and so for me it'll be get some scran and go to bed, and then get up super double mega early because of jet lag on the Friday. So Friday will be a long day and I'll be knackered by the evening. So we will probably get some sightseeing or some fuckabouts done on the Friday. Then on the 27th, on the Saturday, we play Arsenal at 4 p.m. local time. Then the day after, we drive to San Diego. So it is literally just popping into LA. I probably could hang out. I've got my own car out there, so I probably could hang out in LA if there's anything popping off on a Sunday. And then on the Sunday, then it's San Diego, Monday San Diego, Tuesday San Diego, Wednesday San Diego, then it's the match against Real Betis, and then the Thursday I fly home. So, yeah, not the busiest of schedules for me. Did I get to watch the hurling today? No, do you know what? Loads of people messaged me about the hurling today, actually. Was it a final or something? I did see, I've not watched it, I've been out all day, but I think there was a lot of people that messaged me with that one. Jeremy says, have I ever want to consider a pre-season tour with Paddock, maybe a short trip to Malta to play against a local team from here? I would take the lads away, yeah. Last year we did Dublin, and it was just a one-night thing, and it was fucking brilliant. And it was genuinely, it was sensational. I loved it. I would absolutely do it again. But there is obviously a large cost involved in doing that. But I would absolutely go wherever. Why am I getting mentioned by Ash in comments? What's going on here? Worry when Ash tags me in a comment on Instagram. Oh, it's Ronaldo. It's tagged me in something which is the Ronaldo game against United Real Madrid. What's he saying? There was one game I could have went to at your gaff. Good game, to be fair. Got to come to Seattle for the World Cup. I'm petitioning for us to get based in Cancun for the World Cup, and I want a Hawaiian shirt, and I'm going to grow a handlebar mustache, and I'm going to pretend I'm in Narcos. Are miniguns an actual thing that I've been using in the military? Is it possible to fire one without it sending you flying? Are they a thing? A fucking 1,000,000%, yeah. So there are some squadrons that have them attached to the side of them instead of a GPMG for usually special forces type operations. I think a lot more aircraft in the American military have them added, but for Britons it's on. There's one particular squadron that uses them, but they're not man portable as far as I'm aware. I think that was just done for Predator. I don't think there's geezers cutting about the fucking gaff on patrol with a fucking minigun. I mean, I'm happy to be proved wrong on that, but I've never seen it, never heard of it, so fucking imagine. The thing is, mate, you would need fucking 80 kilograms of ammo, and with a couple of fucking you're just fucking out of it. Now you might as well fucking hit someone with it, because it's no good to anyone if you've got no ammo for it. Favourite book? Oh no. There's a few books that I read over and over and over and over again. I don't know. Stuart says, if La Liga translate best to the Prem, why do we not sign more players from there? People probably don't know. It's probably the top and bottom of it. What do I think of United signing a 16-year-old from Arsenal? So I did cover that at the top of the show. But ultimately, I don't know fuck all about him, but I will try and do something prior to me going to America if I get the chance. Do I know why the German away kit is green? No, I don't. James says, Everton released a great documentary on Seamus Cold and Donegal. Did they really? Douglas says, as an army vet, only SF Aviation get the miniguns. Okay. So is that, I'm assuming that's American, yeah? KD says, no miniguns are just fitted to a helicopter. Yeah. They've been fitted to a Humvee. I feel like that could have been a thing. I've never seen one, I don't think. But I would say that could have been a thing. Lion says, Stanage Edge is a good walk. Padley Gorge is good too. Grindlewood, Upper Padley. Will I be there for the Liverpool game? No, I'll be coming home. Andrew says, I'm so far behind in knowing what's going on with you. Where can I get an update? In terms of which bit of all of this? We're just shooting the shit, mate. Don't worry about it. Ryan says, do I think between Sancho, Ahmad, Anthony and Palestri we have world-class solution for the right wing? Or do we need to buy another? No, I don't think we have a world-class solution. But I don't think we'll buy another this year. Brian says, Germany's kit green as the first nation to play after World War II was Ireland. Oh, did not know that. Douglas says, I crewed Chinooks for a while. Are they on Chinooks? Why do I always feel like it was just a Black Hawk solution? But yeah, I guess they could have been on Chinooks. I've just never seen them. Where is Ibrahimov in pre-season? He's too young. Erik says, why are we selling Sancho, McTominay, Anthony, and looks like Casemiro staying? I think all of those could go. I don't think all of those will definitely go together. I think you could end up with a couple of those sticking around, but no, we'll see one of those. Did I read Carl Anker's interview with Cantona? No, I didn't, but I'm sure that would be good. Because Carl's a bit out there, so he's going to ask him some proper questions. I think Laurie's going to be with us on tour, so you'll probably be seeing loads of Laurie on what we do with Paddock. What would I do if we won the league next season? Probably make a right tit out of myself after drinking a fucking bottle or two of rum more than I should have done. Give or take. Do I think Kai Rooney has potential? Yes. Sancho has to go, says Lions. I tend to agree with that, to be honest. What would be my best 11 of active pros and what would be my overall, including legends? Impossible, mate. Impossible to do. Yeah, it's impossible to do. Nick says, me and my missus went to Castleton a week before you did. I had a double take on your post. Knew I'd been there before. Jeremy says, if I ever consider to come here, talk to me. Come where? I could do something about the whole... Oh, right, that's Malta, right? I could do something about the game, the hotel, and the transport, and I really like to follow what you're doing with the team and the channel. Well, cheers, mate. But the problem is that we are run on a fucking shoestring. Like, there is not really any... Well, there's no profit in the club. So where we would find the revenue to come, if we could get it sponsored, it might be something we can do, but there's probably more things we could do like in the community that would benefit us, as fun as it would be, for sure. I know that Malta have a lot of United legends going out there, don't they? But yeah, I don't know how the logistically that would work. But I would be absolutely up for coming, and I'm sure the fucking lads would come as well. We took 20 something to Ireland, I think. It was good. I'd like to do it. And I know there's a massive United community out there that would come out and watch us as well, so maybe one of them. Erik says, I love what I saw from Euro. Can't wait to see him play with Martinez. Yeah, I think that could be a real step up for the pair of them. Do I think the league will be more even this season? No. No, I don't think it will be, no. I think there'll probably be City running away with it. Arsenal probably a bit closer to them. But if Arsenal lose like one of their key players, which I know they're not necessarily rumoured to be doing, but like imagine if like fucking Madrid or someone just comes in and goes zoink, they'd be fucked. It would be genuinely fucked. Do I think I'm a better manager than Ten Hag? Fuck no. Southgate, yeah, not Ten Hag though. Do I like or support FC United and Manchester? I was a founder member of FC. I was on all the protest marches. I haven't been to watch them in a long time. More than 10 years, I would think. Don't want to see another City Prem title. At the end of the day, I don't actually give a fuck because I don't count them. They've cheated for them, so fuck it. How many transfer windows until we're back? I think next year's will be very interesting, you know. I think next year's will be very, very, very interesting because we've seemingly done okay in this window. It started off real nice, hasn't it? Seemingly okay. We see how we do with it this season. Next season, they've had a whole year work up to it, and I would expect improvements on that. I think that would be a big one, yeah. Do Paddock have any friendlies against a Wrexham type club or equivalent? Would be a good watch. We would get turned inside out by Wrexham. We would get turned inside out by a team, I mean, like Droylsden and North West Counties, but realistically, they're North West Counties Prem. That's how good they are. They put 5 past us. I think it was probably a tighter game than 5-0 suggests, but, you know, they fucking put 5 past us. We played Macclesfield, they put 7 past us. You know, there's levels to this. I don't think people fully understand. Like, you see the non-league sort of structure. The teams at the top of that non-league structure would absolutely fucking annihilate us. There is so much depth to that pyramid, and you know there are levels for us to get through. You know, you got to respect the craft as you get up. Steve says, is it true there will be an 8-hour-long heads gone to make up for the summer break? Absolutely not. Abhinav says, Steve, realistically, how much money have the new owners put in Wrexham? I heard they're paying close to championship levels. Isn't there FFP in the lower leagues? No. So there are no FFP regulations in non-league. The FFP regulations kick in at League 2. So you can do an absolute madness to accelerate you through, and then things start to come into play. But with what they've done in terms of the fucking sponsorships that they've done are legitimate and massive because, and the merchandising is probably massive as well because of what they've done with the documentary, that they're probably bringing in so much more than just the teams around them. So much more than the teams around them. So they'll probably be okay on an FFP level, but it still means that they couldn't. It still probably means that they couldn't like go and sign like a mega book signing. They're still going to have to sort of compete with teams of their kind of ilk. They couldn't just go and like buy like a £15 million player or something like that. What Breen says at £90 apparently for tickets United and Rangers. Fucking hell, no wonder there was empty seats. Jesus Christ. Who is my dream signing? I don't know. Off the top of my head now, I can't answer that, sorry. How much potential does Harry Almas have? I think he's tidy. There's a lot that you got to add to your game. I mean, he looked good yesterday. He didn't look good last week, but he did look good yesterday. It'd be interesting to see because there's an opportunity there for him, isn't there? Because, like, I don't know if Luke Shaw's getting on the plane this week. I don't know if Molassi's getting on the plane this week, and if they don't, well, there's your left back. Ryan says, if by some miracle Paddock made it to the FA Cup proper, right, we would have had to win 10 matches to get to the third round. So we would start at preliminary qualifying round 1. And then you get to the qualifying rounds, and then you get to whatever. And there's like fucking, I think there's 7 games to get to round 1. So round 1. Then you got round 2, then round 3 where United would come in. So we would have to win 10 games. Now, I've looked into it. There's not many teams get beyond 2 levels of where like 2 levels higher come in. It's a very, very ruthless, efficient machine of every time people come in, they just fucking whip it like that. They clean out that bottom sort of level that's in there. There's not even one team that's sneaking through. They're just getting out there. So there's very, very clear differences in the levels at non-league. So I know hashtagging their first trip into the FA Cup got fucking really, really far, but it's a rarity. To get through to United, genuinely, I would have won more games in the FA Cup than most fucking managers if I get to that level, which we're not going to get to that level, so don't worry about it. Like, even if we got to round one proper, that is me doing a fucking Jose Mourinho with Porto, right? That is how good that would be. So it's just not going to fucking happen. Like, just roll it out your head. If we can win 1 or 2 games in the FA Cup, we have absolutely fucking outstripped ourselves. And who would I support? Well, if I'm not manager on the day, I'd just go and enjoy the game. Ultimately, like, we would, as a football club, if we was drawn at Old Trafford, that the revenue for that would probably operate Paddock for 10 years, which is fucking bananas, isn't it? Do I think De Gea will get a club this transfer window? That just reminds me of something. If I had a fucking way of getting in touch with him, he'd be playing for Paddock on Saturday. I wonder if he'd do it. I don't know anyone close enough to speak to him. I've asked Rio and he fucking laughs at me when I say it. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. Take it easy as always. Make sure to have a good evening and start your day right tomorrow with whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm sure I'll be live in a few hours once United fucking sign someone. Or I'll go and have a shower. What's the odds that when I get out we've signed 3 fucking players? Take it easy. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any other